Good morning, everybody. Gents and ladies. Today, I'm just going to take you guys down this road with me that I just completed. It was a fun project. We fixed probably more than 1,300 feet on this particular project. We were contracted to do 1,300 feet, but as I was going through the project, it rained a couple of times and I could see other problem areas developing, so I did go ahead and bring some extra material, fixed a few extra feet of the road to make it last longer for the customer. It didn't really cost me that much, but it'll benefit them a lot in the long run. So we started up at the top here, and this road right through here was washing fairly good bit. So what I did was I brought into this section about 24 tons of material on this little section of road. This is probably about 100 feet. So on average, you'll put about 16 tons to touch up a road section. But with having that extra 8 tons of material, I was able to really put a crown on the road and get material to wash off to the sides. Now, as I go down through here, you can see that this shoulder, I'm going to find little low spots like this right here. We didn't have it in the budget to really work the shoulders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of cutouts here all down the road. I didn't want to cut the whole shoulder. I just didn't want to start that much of a chance of erosion. So once you scratch it like that, loosen some material up, just pull it in like this, make you a little dam, and go up from that spot and go ahead and knock that shoulder down a little more. And that gives you a couple of cutoffs for water to run down the edge of that travel portion. Now we're going to pack it back in, as well as packing our little dam. Come on back here, use the radius of the bucket to smooth it on out, and that's how you get water off the road. This is a red clay type of dirt, so it's not bad to wash per se. And we're going to do that a couple of times down through here. This will probably be about a 30-minute video to get everything done that I want to. And I'm mostly inspecting this right side of the road. The left side, I was able to grade and do everything I needed to do. You can see right there where a lot of their railroad ballast type material washed into the ditch line. And there's actually a little bit of a spring head right in there. You can see it's wet. Now the water slows down here and it makes a little bit of a bend and it drops. That will cause you some erosion. So we're just going to kind of put our blade down to stabilize it for one thing. And I am going to radius this out. See how wet that is? I'm making this ditch bottom a little more smooth there. Small fixes make a big difference. This is just a little bonus that they wanted me to do. Lift this tree up and away from the side of the road. Make it look just a little bit nicer. I'm going to go ahead and even that shoulder. That way in the future, when somebody comes down through here to mow or something, it'll be a lot easier to maintain. Always do that extra little bit. I preach that, and I preach it, and I preach it, and I preach it. Always do that extra little bit for a customer. Now we fixed this section starting right here, and it goes for about 100 feet as well. I think we did between 20 and 26 tons on this section. But again, you can see on that right hand side, guys can hear me okay. Now see, I put a little bit of a high spot here to slow the water down and to give it a spot to kick off. So what I'm going to do, put my blade down, and again, I'm going to take advantage of this little spot that's going to hold water to make me a spot to kick water off. Just like that. Now I want to make sure that it's going to drain. I'm going to pack everything back in. And it won't be long, they'll have stuff growing on this. Fluff the ground to make it easier for vegetation to start growing again. Now let's just track on down through here, checking the ditch line as we go, make sure there's no major erosion spots. Now I'm watching for another place to turn our water off. This through here doesn't look bad, okay? Spoke before too soon. Right here was a spot that they'd had a cut across for it to grab water and kick water into the ditch. I did soften it up by starting my tailgating, spreading material right here. This little, well, you can see right there how deep it was. And we added about 2 inches of material right here in this area, and then I slowed down the truck as I was tailgating to make it thicker on the uphill side. So it's still effectively going to carry and grab a lot of water, but it will be softer transition for cars coming and going. He had a tree service come through, and you can see up here, they trimmed all these limbs up high enough for me to be able to tailgate all of this. I could have come through here with my forestry mulching head and mulched all of that, but I don't think the customer knew that I had it, and that's the case a lot of the time, that customers don't know what equipment even exists. So here starts a, oh gosh, probably 500-foot section of road. Each section got about 16 tons. It was just a touch-up coat. Let me raise the boom, and you can see down through here that the whole road is actually banked into the mountainside, and that's common around here. As far as how they used to construct roads, they would say we want a 2% grade into the mountainside to get water into the ditch line as opposed to going off the edge and eroding it. I didn't see any major issues with this section of road. It really just needed some fresh material. Let me get this boom out of y'all's vision. It really just needed some touch-up material. It was not in bad shape, and it was starting to get a little bit washed. It was bare of road bond, so just some fresh material to touch it up. There was a worm trail here and there, but this road was actually holding up pretty good through this section. And that was all good. So right here is one problem area. The customer has a small excavator, I'm told, but not enough one with enough strength to get this. It's like limestone or something. Let's see if we can bust it. Yeah, we'll be able to fix this little bit of ditch line real quick. Sometimes you just need a little bit more muscle. This may take a minute. That is like a limestone. Limestone will actually dissolve over time in a way. I don't want to pull rock up and mess up my nice new road bed, so we're just going to peel that out. There's no houses down below us, so I feel good. See how crumbly that is? No houses, no people. I can actually kind of see down in there. Let's see if we can get all this rock together. It's just, it's almost like a soapstone, actually. What I'll use is those smaller rocks to kind of create a little bit of a slow down spot. These right here, so you can see that I did this was a request made, so it was part of the contract, and I will fulfill all parts of the contract. If you've got really dull teeth, it makes working this stuff a little more difficult. And this is just another reason why I keep good sharp teeth on my excavator. See, that's a lot of powder that could wash down the ditch line and clog our culvert inside. So I'm going to put that powder over there. See, that's bedrock there. There's two types of stone right here. That limestone and granite. Granite's not going to bust. It is not going to bust up like that limestone. Let's get one more grab out of here just to make sure that we are not idled up high enough, that's why. There. For the whole purpose, I like just making a final trip down a driveway that I just fixed, looking for any little thing that's going to cause us problems. See it just pushing up and out of there. That's a lot of powder. Let's just go ahead and grab that. Pick this little rock back out of my road. Now see, I messed up my road a little bit, so I'm going to ease over here to one side so I'm on grade to back drag my blade and keep that crown. And the tractor will be the last thing we pull out of here. So I'm watching those power lines up there. That would be no good. There's a pretty good drop off here to our right. Now I'm not going to point out every single inch of the road that we fixed. That would take a couple of hours. I'm just going to zip on through here. We got that ditch line squared away. Easing on down. Now the tree guys threw some limbs over on the neighbor's strawberry bushes or something up here. So that I've got to find. Let's check our ditch. This looks good. Let's see if we can find where they threw these limbs at. The customer just asked me to pick these up. Get these out of here. Hopefully I can do it without making them even more mad. All hateful things. The tree guys didn't know that there were raspberry bushes or whatever it is here that people didn't want limbs thrown on. So we'll help to remedy the situation, make nice for the neighbors. Get up and out of there. Well, I thought I was going to stuff these in my truck. They're a little too long to fit. And if I took the time to get the chainsaw out and piece them up, that would cost a little bit too much time for me to be able to have done it for free. Consolidate this just a touch. Let's see, I think I got one more way down there. Let me check and see what that is right there. That's just an old piece of wood, but I don't want it to roll down there to the house. See if I can just go ahead and grab it. I was afraid that piece of wood was going to take off. That would have been less than desirable. Yeah, it gets rotten anyway. Alright. Stuff back up here. An easier spot to get to. Now I'm going to post at the end of this video some links to some of my older videos think you guys will benefit from. I think most viewers don't want to watch old videos, but I've got a whole lot of forestry mulching videos, driveway videos. People are asking me to make videos about stuff that I've already made videos about, which I will do. Right here's another cut across. I forgot. We're into another section. This is a bend in the road, and for a mountain road, this can be a little bit tricky. Right here, and I've got a stick stuck in my thing here. You gotta be kind of picky with these roads. So the ditch line looks good right here. It's clear and flowing and not eroding in a worm trail. It's straight. Right here is another spot where I started and stopped tailgating loads a little bit apart, causing it to have a little bit of a low spot in the road. And this is a spot where water can run into that trench, cut across the road, and run down to a culvert. I do try to make it where water will split sometimes, just depending on what I think the flow is going to be. It always depends on the situation. Alright, now you'll see here, it's a high spot that I left. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently raise my machine up to where I can do this properly. And we're going to put us a cutoff right here. Now I know down below the neighbors have a catch. It's like a catch basin, though it's really big. And what it will do is this water is going to run right down there, and it is going to run into that culvert. No matter what I do right here, no matter where we run it, there's a culvert pipe right there that kicks everything across. So we've got to make it to where that water can run to the most effective place. These neighbors are cool, he said, but nobody wants a bunch of water turned off on them. That is a no-no. That's a good way to get sued. So don't do that. Backing this down so it's not going to erode on them. And in a few weeks, this being summertime, you will never even know that I did this, other than the water will be getting off the road. Let's go ahead and finish it off. Take it to where the grass can grow. Back it up. Now here I'm just going to back drag my blade just a touch. Away we go. We fixed this whole section through here. Now right here water was staying in the road, so we had to add, I think in this little 40-foot section I put 16 tons of material down to raise the road bed up, and as always kick water off of the road. Let me show you a quick way here to fix a start point. Alright, I could try to blade this, I could use the box blade, but for you guys who are looking to start in the business and you can only afford one piece of equipment, I always recommend an excavator over everything. That is your biggest money maker. So to fix this, little here, there's a little hump, right? Here's the high spot, and then it drops off down to the old road bed. All I've got to do is take the teeth on my bucket and flip them. Like that. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Loosen that material. See how it's just kind of roughing everything up? Material will drop in off that low spot. And since it's a low spot, the material, and we're going downhill as well, it will coast. But when it hits the flat spot, it'll slow down. So by just flipping that material, it will in effect land almost where it just needs to. So let's just flip this out through here. Now we're going to pull it back toward us a little, and we're going to flip it just like that. Now here I've already established my grade, so I'm going to only move over about 3 teeth you can see there to the area that hasn't been graded, and I'm going to watch the right side to keep me on level. I'm going to flip it like that, and I'm going to continue to do that all the way across here. Just going to pull it back toward me, and I'm going to flip it when I need to. And that's just something that you're going to learn as you do this. It's something you're going to get good at. Now see there, I dug in a little too much, that low spot. Now watch how easy it is to even it out. It's that easy. And don't think you're going to get a laser grade this way. You're not going to do it, folks. Now the way we know if our subgrade is good is by just tracking across it. If there's no like apparent low spots, then we'll know that we're pretty well good to go. Might get the defrost going. Now see how the machine kind of pitched right there? That tells me that there's still a little bit of a drop. Let's back up, and we're going to track back and forth right here, watching for my power lines. Let's see how that turned out. Okay, that's not bad at all. The center is got a low spot, so I'm putting my blade down so I'm not just teetering uncontrollably. You want to be stable. Hopefully you've got a blade on your excavator. If you're using one for this kind of stuff, you need you a mini or a midi excavator. Something I think about 20,000 pounds. It's enough weight and strength that you can do big jobs, but it's also small and nimble enough to do the small jobs. Okay, so let's see how that turned out. You can see right there, it's pretty well smooth. Now this is where me having 2 pieces of equipment comes into play. I'm going to be able to bring the tractor down and taper that out and make it perfect. But if you don't have a tractor, let me just show you what you can do. Pull your boom all the way in, put your blade down. Now start driving and watch behind your blade. And when you start seeing the ground behind the blade smooth, that means you're skimming along. Alright, we're going to go into turtle mode, go slow. Now we're just going to drive along until it drops that material off. Now we're also going to drop the blade just a little more, maybe really 1/4 of an inch is all it takes. And I'm going to start backing up. See it gather, well you guys may not be able to see it, but it's gathering material behind the blade, and that's filling any low spots. And guys and girls, that is as simple as grading gets. Now as I'm moving forward, I'm turning as I go, so my tracks don't just screw up everything. Now I'm going to pull back forward, drop that blade a little, and start backing up. Let it gather material. Now when it starts really, you see a big blob of material coming up in the center of your blade, start just bumping it up. Bump that control up and let it start dropping material. You want to keep just a little wave, a wave that looks about that high, no matter how wide. You want a little wave, and that way you know you're collecting material, but you're not stealing too much material from one spot. So right there, that looks rough, but after a few cars come through here, man, it's going to be pretty. I'm telling you, believe me, it's going to be pretty. All right, here's another little high spot, but now, once you get some experience, you'll be able to see these high spots. You'll be able to drop your blade just enough and just roll it right through. And you'll never have to stop. I'm able to watch behind me. There is one house up here behind me that I don't want to back all over top of the car. But you can see right there, I knocked that high spot down, and I'm just going to keep going. We are going to keep on going, folks. Now, going through this turn, I'm going to stick my boom out so it takes weight off the back of my tracks. And it makes it easier for the machine to turn, and I can actually bump my stick, or I can pull up on it, and it'll lift the rear end of the excavator, and it'll pivot on those front idlers. It won't tear the road up at all. Well, let's see what we got right here. Hopefully somebody's getting something good out of this. Now, you can see from the previous grade of the road, there was some washing right through here. Okay, now there's a big spot right here with all these rocks that are going to collect silt. That means to me that I am free to do this. knock this little lip down. There's no culverts for a long way down through there. And a whole lot of bare rocks. So all of this material that I'm knocking off of here is going to get trapped behind all those rocks. That's going to, number one, smooth out the ditch bottom, but it's also going to make it more efficient. So now I'm just going to go like this. And I'm cutting each time I do this. I could very well have the dump truck up in front of me and I could be digging this stuff out. But since it's got a large amount of clay contained in it, this stuff's going to pack and not go anywhere. This is also going to make this ditch line really pretty. Well, maybe not pretty. Yeah, I think I probably use that term loosely right there. Now, instead of going and abusing my machine unnecessarily by pounding the ground, I'm going to back up. And I'm going to track along this. I'm going to start the roadside edge. I'm going to track along. And then I'm going to back up. And I'm going to work my way over about 4 to 6 inches each time. Move that boom out of the way so you guys can see what's going on. If I only move it over a little bit, I'm putting more pressure on the uncompacted stuff, and that pressure is what really sets that material in. Now when you're working on the edge of a ditch like this in an excavator, if it's only that deep or even that deep, if you slide into the ditch, you're not going to turn over. You'll be fine. Don't let this stuff scare you. But you will develop more confidence as you go along. Working with an excavator. Now here's another section of, this is about the end of that 500-foot section, roughly. You know, you guys can meter it off if you want. This, from where we're sitting, all the way down where the road curves out of sight, is all new material. So I'm going to describe what I've done. Now through here we put about 20 tons down per every 100 feet. This section through here looks like it was really susceptible to washing. The road wasn't shaped good. It was a little concave, carrying just a little bit of water. So we've got a good crown to the road through here. Let me pull this boom up out the way. And I mean, this section has probably turned out the best of all of it. Now right here again, you can see starting here up to, hopefully, I'd say 50 feet, I put an additional 9 tons of material down, and that makes a high spot at this stop. So we got a high spot right here where it's kicking water off this way, as well as from the center off this way. That's dividing the water. It's splitting your water in half. Now, there's a whole lot of growth off to the right here, so I'm not concerned about it washing away or anything. Now, I'm gonna get pretty aggressive right here because the evidence of washing was pretty good. Given all the repair work that I've done uphill from here, I feel like that the amount of water that was getting down here, I'm going to put this blade down to stabilize myself, is reduced by a huge amount. Like I could not tell you in gallons. And that, of course, that, you know, depends on how heavy of a rain you're getting at any one time. Sorry, I'm having to focus just a second here. I don't want to cut this too much, but I also don't want to cut it too little. This is one of those spots that it really matters, so I'm going to pull it this way just to loosen it, because that ground seems to be pretty hard and kind of putting up a fight. Good thing about dirt, you pull it towards you, it's easy to push back into place, but if you push it off the hill, especially one here where there's probably a 40-foot drop off the side, You're not getting that dirt back unless you are willing to go down there after it. And I am not. I do not want to go down there. See how hard that ground is? So I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up here. I'm making kind of a scoop. I don't necessarily want the water to just go right by it, because then it could just, you know, wash my berm out, and then it's like I never did any good. So let's cut one more little bit here. There's a stump there, I think. Nope, just hard ground. So this is pretty good. I'm happy with this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my bucket over, and I'm going to pack it and finish grade it all at the same time. Pretty easy. I'm almost used to this pump being turned up. I think I'm getting it. There's all kinds of tricks and methods that you will learn to use that works for you in your particular area. One of mine is, once I catch the water here, I put me a little bowl right there, and then I compact it, and that will allow water to get down in there, and then it's got to slow down a little bit. Granted, it will fill up with silt over time, but it's, by the time that bowl fills up, water will just wash on over the edge. Now if it's just a little sprinkle, it may not even go off the edge of the road. It might just trickle on down the side. Through here, we've got good clean ditch. I'm gonna keep on trucking. So now down here at the bottom again, how to fix this? We've got a pretty aggressive taper. I'm gonna start it way back here, because it's hard to 5 feet from where you're wanting to move material to adjust that blade slowly without gouging into the ground, but gather enough material to do what you need to do. So we're going to start way back here. I'm going to pull my boom back, not enough to hit those lines up there. Now what I'm going to do, while you're learning this, hit it, take it out of rabbit, don't be moving fast, idle it all the way down. You do not need a lot of power. This is a 20,000 pound machine going downhill. Alright, now watch that blade if you can. I don't know how well I've got you guys adjusted on the roof, but I'm looking at the back of my blade. The ground is getting cut smooth. Now, at this point, I'm going to visualize a straight line from the bottom of my blade to where I want it to plane out to. And I'm going to make the blade follow that plane. Now raise up. Got a little bit of a tilt, but it is not nearly as aggressive as it was. So let's back drag a little bit. Same method as before. You're going to let that blade fill up with material. And I'm actually letting it grab it, and material is rolling out the sides off the edge here. And you can see that rough new material off to the left. Now as I go farther back, it's going to start depositing more material, and if it doesn't, just start bumping your blade up where it slowly starts losing that little pile. Just slowly. You don't want to just drop the pile all at once, because then when you track over it, guess what you're going to be left with? A bump. And nobody wants bumps in their driveway. So you can see how that turned out nice and smooth. We're going to do the same thing to the right hand side now. Now make small movements here. Now one thing you don't want to do is have that blade hanging over into the dirt, because it's going to grab dirt and pull it potentially into your new road. So I'm going to stay about this far off of that shoulder. Let me get positioned. Now what I'm doing is I am keeping myself centered in the road by points of, you know, reference, and that's something you guys will just have to learn. It's not really something I can teach. Now once I get started, I'm going to swing around here, and I'm using the center of the road as a reference. If material starts spilling over that center, it knows I'm taking my crown out. So I'm just going to keep on going here, and I'm going to raise my blade, and I'm making small adjustments as I go. I've gone far enough to take that sudden drop off, and I'm going to start raising my blade, and you can see how it tapers out right there. So now we're just going to track down through here. There's not really a big need. Actually, I'm going to cut this a little bit more, so I'm going to put my blade down. I'm going to turn where I can watch that corner, use it as a reference, and I'm just going to start cutting ground. You guys can get good at this. It takes time, and some people do get better over the long run than others. I mean, everybody learns differently. Everybody gets better or worse at things at different rates. That's just how it goes. Let's see what we got left here. Now this section of road, actually I put a long dip in it, and that allows water to slow down before it gets to the next downhill side. The water can run off the sides. This is just, again, this is your final pass. This is the last thing you're going to do with the excavator on the way out. You never really want to build a road on the way in, because you start hauling equipment out, and excavators especially are going to tear your new road up. They are going to twist, they're going to tear everything up, and even if you've got a tractor, it can make it more work than it needed to be to fix the road. And there's no sense in fixing what you already fixed, trying to get to other jobs. Again, we're out till September, so you guys be sure to subscribe. I think I've got some helpful tips that'll help you in your endeavor in starting a small excavation and grading business, and hopefully make you guys more profitable. At the end of every video, I always post what videos I think relate to the one that I just did, and that I feel like is going to benefit you guys, either with your skill level, your business sense, or your profit. Bottom line, I think that's what everybody is here for. Everybody wants to know the numbers. And since you spent the time to go through this whole, looks like it's going to be a 40-minute video, I will tell you, the person who has stuck around the longest and watched the whole video, this job was about a $16,000 job. You guys can do the math. You know, we brought in over 200 tons of material. We spent in all hauling equipment in, doing the work, and I usually don't figure time hauling equipment out, because a lot of the time you don't know exactly when or where you're going to. So you've got to, well, I guess in a nutshell, just from the time I haul equipment to a job, starting hauling equipment till it's done, everything, every minute, every effort I put out is paid for. It's charged for. This has been one of the best customers I've ever had. He's been great. He's trusted me. He's trusted me to use my judgment to give him a good, long-lasting job, and he's going to save and buy his own little tractor. He's become a friend, and I'm going to teach him how to scrape his own driveway, and in return, I'll be the one that he calls to have haul in fresh material when he needs it, which is going to be a long time. So, you know, 1,300 feet, 16 grand may seem like very little, or it may seem like a lot. And the reason for that is because if you've never done this kind of work, you don't know what it should cost. But if you have done this kind of work and all your work's been close to a quarry or super far away, that is one of the biggest expenses. So for this job, that's 16 grand. Surprisingly enough, our next job is about the same. So that you can make a living doing this. There is a lot of overhead, and don't be afraid of the overhead. And my one little bit of advice, you know, if you've stuck around this long, you cannot have a business based on what ifs. If you are worried to death about what if this goes wrong, what if this doesn't go right, if that's at the forefront of your mind, you may never try it. You may never set out to do this. You've got to get rid of the what if. And if you're stuck with the what if, you got to go with the what if it goes right. What if it works out? What if I'm successful? Hang on to those, because your odds as a person, before you figure in overhead, you can rent when you're starting out. If all you have starting out is yourself and your body and your mind and your will, your decision to be positive about it is everything. I have troubles with the what if still. I won't lie. There are still times when I'm looking at making a big purchase or whatever, I find myself what ifing, and I remind myself, what if I buy that truck? What if I buy that bigger piece of equipment and it works out? What if the work keeps coming in? That's when you affect your life positively. You've got to keep a positive attitude. If you are not positive, you're going to have a hard time in any business. So, here's the end of it. Thank you guys for joining me. I love you guys. Don't forget, I've got my other channel, Digging Life Deeper, that is going to be uncut footage. It's just going to be raw. We're going to have a great time with it. And you guys will get to see a lot of the behind the scenes, the stuff that's cut out that I think is fluff or wasteful. And who knows, there may be a tip that I cut out on Digging Life 21 that you may benefit over there. So go over, again, it's Digging Life Deeper. 2 words, Digging Life Deeper, and subscribe. And if you run out of good shows to watch, you can go over there, come to my show. We'll be glad to have you. Thanks. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. I know I am. We'll see you on the next one.